My name is Peter Loewen. I'm from the Winkler-Morden area, which is about an hour northwest drive from here. I am married for 15 years. I have a 7-year-old daughter, 9-year-old son, and I have owned a small bicycle store in Winkler for the last 15 years called Country Cycle. My goal up here today is threefold. Number one is simple. I want you guys to like me. I tell people I am a recovering people pleaser, but unfortunately I'm stuck in a relapse loop. Number two, I want, hopefully as I speak up here, you guys will have experienced some moments, not moments. So, Lauren, could you lead everybody in a Thank you. That would be amazing. And third, I'm hoping to leave you with some potential questions that you can ask yourselves. So let's start with a quote. He who has a why can bear almost any how. Now this quote was by a late 19th century philosopher who then, of course, it would be he, but it's the person who has a why can bear almost any how, and it is by Friedrich Nietzsche. And people have heard of him? Yeah, so he's a big time philosopher that I think his time is yet to come. And so the why of Peter Loewen and Country Cycle is to build community, and specifically to build community around the bike. The bike because it provides a kind of a deep need for movement of me. I'm self-diagnosed ADHD, so I need to move. And what it does is this movement, it grounds me, and it helps me to detach from all the, even though I'm a small bike shop, I have a lot of things moving, a lot of balls in the air at once, and so it helps me to detach from all the crazy ideas and the demands that my staff has of me. I like to say a bicycle ride a day keeps the psychotic episodes away. One of the great human paradoxes is that we are both selfish and social at the same time. And it's my belief that it's our social nature that drives us to be called to create community. And community as we know it is not something simply where it's a group of people living side by side. Community is more, as we understand it, is an entire ecosystem, one that helps it helps the needs of the members in that community. And my belief in community is analogous. I compare it to that of our own idea of a higher power. I see it as a separate kind of an entity, and the reason that this helps me with my idea of community is that it requires for me to believe that a community is an entire ecosystem that helps the individual's needs and helps us to flourish, because it requires that we believe. It's an idea bigger than us, and it requires that we put aside our selfish nature and that we give up, that we suppress that selfish nature that we have. And it's this task that we are challenged with every day in our family life, in our work life, in the sports teams that we play or the clubs that we participate in. In order for that group that we are part of to be successful, we must believe in the whole, and we must move together. There is no I in team, as the saying goes. But yet we are individuals with individual needs. It seems very important to us that we are able to express our individual needs And what Friedrich Nietzsche has to say about that in his theory of will, he has this really big theory, it's called will of power. And what he says is this ability for us to express our individuality is important because it gives us purpose and meaning. And so how do we deal with this idea of community where we work together and move as one while still preserving our individual identity? Of course, it takes a lot to kind of create a team, so it is like that with community. It takes a lot of different people with a lot of different skills, a lot of strengths to make a successful community function. Sometimes I ride my bike a lot, and I would ride it a lot, alone a lot, as Bill reminds me. And sometimes I think about community as a puzzle. Like each puzzle piece is a different shape and it fits into a slightly different part of the puzzle. We, as community members, also, we have different strengths, weaknesses, and we fit into the community as a whole in a slightly different way, that we are a part of that puzzle because it gives us a full picture. And so I believe that a successful community is a place where we individuals can express who we are in the positions that we hold within community, be it the groundskeeper, or the librarian, or the hairdresser, or the caregiver, or the fatherly type, or the motherly type. It kind of takes all the archetypes to create a successful community. But so it begs the question, so then who are we? What are our strengths and our weaknesses? How do we even figure that out? For me, it took a lot of just doing a ton of different jobs before I figured out exactly, okay, this is what I'm really passionate about. And so I opened up a bike shop because I wanted to create community around not only the bike shop, but me. One thing, and I recently came through what I think was my midlife crisis. I don't know if anybody's gone through that, but it's a joy. It actually had a really good time with it. It was all on my bike, which was great. But what was cool is I came across a quote from an American poet. So she is an American poet, and it goes like this: you can't really know where you are going until you know where you have been. Anybody recognize that? Maya Angelou. Yes. This is a brilliant quote, and it helped me kind of take inventory of where I was currently in my life and and where I needed to go. And luckily, instead of discovering that I was on the wrong path and that I was living the wrong why, my why actually of building community actually became supercharged, I would say. And I'm now Country Cycle 15 years on. I'm doing some really exciting stuff that hopefully one day I'll be able to, do more of this kind of stuff, because I'm working with Indigenous kids who I think they need to figure out their why. And so I'm writing a lot of bike programming these days, and I'm bringing this to Indigenous communities, and they love it. And it's been really successful so far. I mean, it's just started, but the response is absolutely amazing. And it's one of these challenges that almost seems impossible, because I'm not sure how it is in America, but in Canada, it's just like, it's really messy between us, the people that came after the Indigenous people. And so, but I'm excited about that, because I think I have a strong why. And so I think it is something that's possible. Back to this idea of community and everybody plays to their strengths, having a strong vision. I think I think of the potential. I look at my own place of work, and right now I'm really fortunate that I have got this amazing staff. It's taken kind of years of refinement and figuring out where everybody belongs in in the setting, but we've got a great team of people going, and everyone's playing to their strengths. And I think if I use that as a benchmark, what could communities look like if everybody has a true sense or a good sense of why and a life of living with purpose and meaning? But of course, this is thinking in ideals, but it is ideals that we have to strive towards. Speaking of impossible to achieve, it's a very hard thing for everybody to kind of find out what's the thing that they love, the passion, the thing that makes the most passion, the thing that nothing will, very little will stop them, and that ultimately will make not only you feel like you are contributing and that you belong in a community, but also brings with it, I think when you live that life, I think it has to bring success with it in every aspect. But the problem is, we are an incredibly distracted species, I should say, or we are incredibly distracted people. We are petty, we are political, and instead of going for a bike ride and kind of just detaching yourself from all the craziness that goes on in your life, we sit down and we consume a steady diet of fear and anxiety from our media. And then there's the whole thing of social media. And I should be careful what I say, but of course, this election season, there is going to be a lot of money spent in getting you guys to be angry and hateful. And what it's going to do is it's going to do the opposite of exactly what you guys are trying to do here. But thankfully, we have the choice of how we react. And so to close, one more quote. Pablo Picasso said, "The purpose of life is to find your gift. The meaning of life is to share that gift." So my question is, how do we shape and form our communities so that everybody feels that they have a seat at the table? Thank you.